This is Mobile Agent TV, helping agents stay on the cutting edge from coast to coast.
Welcome to Mobile Agent TV. I am Michael Thorne of RE/MAX Little Oak Realty in Langley, BC, and my co-host, as always, is Dave Bachware from Bridgewater, New Jersey's RE/MAX Preferred Professionals and the Enviro Realty team. Dave, favorite Thanksgiving dish?
Stuffing.
I think I probably asked you that last year, and that's why I like you. That's the best answer possible. It is absolutely the stuffing. Happy Thanksgiving to all our American viewers. Canada got that out of the way about a month or so ago, but happy Thanksgiving to everybody. We've been off the air for a while as I've been around going from conference to conference throughout the month of October. Got out there and saw Dave in New Jersey, and on that note, episode 95, our last episode, live from New Jersey, had some audio issues because we were trying to do something a bit more creative with multiple laptops. I have got the cleaned up video from RE/MAX of New Jersey, so thank you very much. Special thank you goes out to Stephen Shiver, who sent that out there. I'll get that up and reloaded and sent out to everybody. It was a great conversation we had with Dave, the first time we've done the live show outside Las Vegas together, with Jeff Lobb and Valerie Garcia, talking a little bit about maybe what we're going to get in today, although I think we're going to go a lot more into the blueprint of online, of your online presence today. During the broadcast, you can interact with us live on Twitter using the hashtag MATVLive, as well as we will open up the Q&A feature here on the show. So if you are on the blog and logged into Google, you can send us your comments and your questions. Thanks to RE/MAX of Europe. I had a blast out there in Berlin. Dave, we have to make this an obligation. Next year it's in Rome. These guys are forced to be so creative that the amount of conversations that I had that really opened up my mindset to implement in our business, because we don't have the same barriers, that they're forced to be extremely creative in their marketing, because, you know, I forget what episode 90, 91, 92 we had. We were talking about how different the marketplace is in Europe, and it was a fantastic event. Next week episode, we're going to have Jeff Harris, who's the VP of Enterprise Sales for Matterport, our #1 requested guest over the last 6 months. We finally got a hold of the guys over at Matterport, as well as we're going to have Kyle Cutcliffe, former guest on the show, come in and sort of sit in with us, because he's a RE/MAX agent who's actually out implementing Matterport, so it's good to hear it from the company and also from a RE/MAX agent that is implementing it into the business. Video boot camp. We're going to do a 2-day video boot camp, the 2 days prior to RE/MAX R4, which is the 28th and the 29th of February. We'll get you finished up on the 29th in time that you can get off to the opening general session. You can sign up for the boot camp when you sign up for RE/MAX R4. Limited seats available, so you can go ahead and check that out. And on that note, got an email from Bill Wolf, a great RE/MAX agent out in Ontario, who took the very first boot camp that we did out in Mississauga, to let me know. Now, we train on ScreenFlow. I think it's one of the easiest programs to sort of get your feet wet in video editing. Is it a perfect program? Absolutely not. It's not as robust as Final Cut Pro or Premiere Pro, but it's stripped down and it's easy to understand. Black Friday sale from now until the 30th. You can get ScreenFlow for 30% off. It's like $69. Bill, thank you so much for bringing that to my attention. I appreciate it. I'm looking through the opening comments. I think we got it all down. Gets us to today's. No, it doesn't get us to today's show. I get to turn over. I'm so excited about this, viewers. I have no idea what's about to happen. Before the show started, Dave indicated he needed a couple minutes to clear up an issue that he has with Dan Vick, former guest on the show, RE/MAX agent out in Kansas City. So, Dave, I'm going to sit back with my cup of joe and watch what's about to unfold. And
well, not really an issue. I mean, I have to acquiesce. Dan Vick and I had a little bet about the World Series, and Dan Vick's a great old-time RE/MAX agent like myself out, and he's a good guy out in Kansas City. So we had a little bet about barbecue and pork roll. And as it turns out, we got our asses handed to us in the World Series by the Kansas City Royals. So I couldn't send him pork roll because it has to be refrigerated, and I can't refrigerate it. I would rather have got on a plane and delivered it myself than to do what I'm about to do. So what I have to do for the whole show is I have to sit here with this stupid gangster-looking Kansas City Royals hat on, because this is the way they wear it out in Kansas City. You know, this is it.
Flat brimmed.
What I was going to do, though, I was going to actually, when the show was over, I was going to go outside and put some lighter fluid on it and burn it. But it's brand new. I just bought it. And it's even got the little stickers that the little gangster guys like to wear, you know. So I'm just going to ship this out to Dan, and hopefully he can give it to some deserving young man out there who's a Kansas City Royals fan. So for the rest of the show, Dan, just look at my smiling face. You guys beat us fair and square. But on a real little minor note to end this up, as it turns out, the Kansas City Royals and the New York Mets open the Major League Baseball season next year in Kansas City, interleague play. So the Mets are coming there to Kansas City. And I think it's going to be, I'll make another prediction. We're going to come there and show you kind of what it's really about. We stopped hitting. You beat us fair and square. We screwed it up. But look out next year, Dan. So, Dan, feast your eyes. Here I am doing what I don't want to do. I hate this. But I'm
There's going to be a lot of screen capture photos of you over the internet wearing that hat. So good on you, Dan Vick. Great bet. I mean, I don't know. You're right. That's way better than a pork roll. Okay. So want to get in today's show. Is your online presence ready for 2016? With a guest I'm super excited about, a fantastic lady, Heather H. Holiday. You can get her on Twitter at H3SocialNut, and as always, we read out our guest 160 Twitter bio. She's the mother of 2 awesome kids and married to my best friend, technology coach at REMAX Elite. Welcome to the show, Heather.
Thank you.
Now, you and I have had this conversation in person before, but for our viewers, give us your history in the real estate space.
I've been in real estate since the 90s, the late 90s, not including as a young kid going to my grandmother's open houses on my bicycle. So she's a retired agent. I got in the late 90s. I joined REMAX in 06. So I'm about to come up to my 10 years next February, so that's exciting. And I've always been more on the back end. I do have my license. I've been licensed since 05. I do not like being out in front. I find myself much better in the back end, making everyone else look like a rock star. That's where my strength is.
And that's really what we want you here on the show today, Heather, to give us some insights on the back end stuff that agents have to do to make them look like a rock star so they can go out, be on the front line with buyers and sellers. So it's an absolutely perfect fit. And one of the things, coming to the end of the year, we started our business planning, though that should have been done 2 months ago, for the next year. And I sort of said it in the teaser about the days of 2015 are wanting to an end, and so are the days where you can afford not to have a sophisticated online presence. And I think some people find that sort of a threatening way of stating it, but I really think, guys, that we're coming to the end of not being able to have a sophisticated online presence. In the email that I send out on our newsletter, and if you're not signed up for our newsletter, you can go to mobileagenttv.com and click on the right-hand side and sign up for our newsletter, and we just send you out the update before the show. I linked to a survey that came out from the British Columbia Real Estate Association, something that I quote in my keynote that I'm going around with right now, is that out of 100 potential buyers, 33% of those buyers went straight to an online search opposed to looking for a recommendation from somebody else. Went straight to an online search. 33 out of 100. So that's a sophisticated online presence is going to capture those 33%. Out of the remaining 66% of people who received a recommendation from a friend or a family member, 71 of those 66% of those people then went home, performed an online search to validate the referral that they got from a friend or family member. So 33% and 71% of the remaining 66% needed to have a sophisticated online presence to verify the decision of an agent that they used. And I hear a lot of agents talking about repeat and referral businesses, the best way to build a business, what Dave and I has done, what I've done, what all of our guests that have amazing businesses have done, has built their business on repeat and referral. Still requires a sophisticated online presence in 2015, 2016. Talk about that in general, Heather, from the 30,000-foot view. The importance of having a sophisticated online presence. It's a mandatory thing if you're going to build a big, nice, successful business.
I really think that the consumers are a lot smarter and savvier than they used to be. So they are going online, and a lot of calls that I get from even agents are that they lost a listing because of another agent, or even sellers that say, hey, you don't have any reviews, so and so has reviews, just they're not maximizing what their potential could be, and they're losing out on business. Even if they are referred, they're losing it out because they're not establishing themselves online. They don't have a presence, they're not sure what to do, or they set up ghost accounts where they're still shadow people. They're not utilizing the tools that are out there, and that's where the consumers are going to try to find out more about the agent themselves.
And it was a very interesting thing. We had Jeremy Gucci on. We did a show out of Victoria, and he's an amazing author of some amazing books. And one of the things he said was, if I search two agents and one has 2,000 Twitter followers, which is meaningless, by the way, and one has no Twitter followers, which is the same, if that's my only benchmark, then it does matter. Then the 2,000 followers does matter, because it's a benchmark of something. And so you could be a better agent than an agent that has an online presence. But what is the consumer, the buyer or the seller searching, supposed to use as a benchmark to compare you to somebody else? That's the issue. The issue is you have no reviews and this person has 7. Are you a better agent? Potentially. But at least there's something to compare it to. Dave, you've seen things change in your years in real estate. The fact that you used to come to the table as an opportunity for the buyer or the seller to get to know who you are. Now, don't they already know something about you in some format before you get to the kitchen table? And that has to do with some ability to do some sense of research. And you even said it too before, Dave, on the show, that you don't purchase anything without a Google search. And so why would that be any different in 2015, 2016 when they're looking to hire an agent?
I don't think it's no different at all. I use it more for, I know that we get Googled all the time. We just went on it. We got just like you just said, we had a personal referral, a strong personal referral to a police officer in a neighboring town. We went there, and Vanessa mentioned in a listing presentation how I do mobile agent TV to understand about technology and how we can help our clients. And the guy says, yeah, I know about that. I Googled you. He said it. He told us. He said, I Googled you. So he knew all about me, even though we got a strong referral from his very closest personal friend that says, you have to use these guys. Don't even go anywhere else, and it'll work. And we also use it more for, I'm a big, we call it social, my own kind of social media, and that's meeting people and talking to them one-on-one. That's the way we built our business, just like you said. But now with social media, especially Facebook, we on a daily basis are connecting with our past friends or with our past clients every day. They know more about us now than they ever were because of social media. And so it's a tremendous tool for us, tremendous tool. Well, I go about it a little different, but to keep our business growing and people Googling you, you're absolutely right. You better have a presence because they are going to Google you. I do it. I'm sure everybody else does.
Of course. Now, Heather, I just got a text message from Dan Vick, and he's wearing a KC hat. I don't know if you got the same text message, but it just popped up on my iPad. Thanks, Dan. I'm glad that you're enjoying this. Screen capture, Dan. Throw it out on Twitter, put it out on Facebook, tag Dave Hogware. He's just super excited to be wearing this hat. If you've just joined us, Dave lost a bet with Dan Vick, and he's wearing a Kansas City hat throughout the show. So, Heather, if we look back at the survey saying, okay, 71%, even if they got recommended, are going to do a Google search, the question really is, what is it that the consumer's looking for? If they're doing that search, what is it that they want to see on the other end? And then to the next question, then Heather, is when they do search, what are they going to find? And as an agent, I think you really have to ask those two questions. What is it the consumer wants to see? And when they Google my name in 2015, 2016, what are they going to find? So that's really the question.
I think that consumers are looking for, whether it be reviews, whether it be your listing, your inventories, your sold, something about you, something that they can resonate with. And if I'm curious how many agents have actually Googled themselves to see where that's the first thing I do when an agent doesn't even know, and sometimes they're listed with a different company or something like that, and I tell them to use, I've used brandyourself.com, which will actually grade you, and it's, you can get a free account, and at least that way it's going to pull up the top 100 sites. Is it positive? Is it negative? Heather Holiday is a very unique person. I mean, she's a sword swallower, sideshow acts in Coney Island, so the Google Academy had a heyday with my name, but so it's constantly, when you Google my name, you see Twitter at Heather Swallows. That is really hard. She's got a lot of video and photos that I have to compete with to constantly stay up. You like that one, huh? You're going to go over there?
Yeah. So Heather, and one of the things I would strongly suggest people do when they do Google themselves is Google themselves in incognito mode, so that your settings on your computer don't manipulate the results based on your social connections and whatnot. So go on, throw your browser into incognito mode, and then go ahead and Google yourself. Now, I know very little about Division 7 football in Wisconsin, very, very little. But I do know this: there's a guy named Michael Thorne tearing it up this year because I have Google alerts set up for my name, and that's just something every agent should be doing. Go into Google Alerts, set up an alert for your name. Set up Bridgewater, New Jersey real estate as an alert, and anything comes up that's really, really important for you to understand what is happening around you, so that you can control as best you possibly can the conversation that takes place around your brand. And there's nothing more important than what the internet thinks your brand is, and to maintain that. It's so important.
Michael, when we hear we're getting an offer coming in on one of our properties, and I don't know who the agent is, before I do anything, I Google them. I want to know who I'm dealing with. Let me see if this one knows what they're talking about. Let me see if they generally are a good real estate agent. I can tell when you Google them.
And I think that's a smart thing to do. Is it going to give you a talking point to build rapport with them? Potentially. He's a huge Mets fan. Well, then we got something. I mean, that all comes back to your consumer. Your consumer wants you to have an edge, and that's your obligation, I think, to find some sort of way to make that negotiations go as smoothly as you possibly can. And building rapport with the other agent is a fantastic way to build, to get them to go to bat for you. A lot of baseball analogies so far, but I think that's really, really, really important. So, Heather, setting your goals, the framework for improving, developing, maintaining your online presence. If you were to set out some goals over the next 12 months, what would that framework look like? Where does someone start to make sure that they got a sophisticated presence online? Because they certainly can't go out and do everything. And Dave and I are huge advocates of not starting everything, but where should they start to make sure that when that Google search happens, when that online inquiry happens, that they have a framework and a foundation there?
The first thing that they need to do is to know where they're at currently. What are their current goals? What are their current numbers? What are they currently doing? What can they improve on? And that's, I think, when you go to conventions and educational things, you just want to try everything, and that's where people get bogged down. They stop. They're done. So by improving on what they may already doing, maybe they're already on Facebook. Maybe they can enhance that a little bit more. Maybe they can go more in depth. Make sure on a real estate level, look at your listing presentation. What are you telling the sellers that you're doing for them? And are you actually doing that for them? I can see a lot of listing presentations, and they're saying they're all over social media, but they don't even have a Facebook account. So what are you telling your sellers what are you actually doing? Are you utilizing free accounts, like Zillow, to enhance your listings? Are you using even your photos? Are you using a professional, photographer if you don't take good pictures? I mean, that is, you may be representing the seller, but you're also representing yourself and how you handle your listing. So look at what you're doing now. What can you make improvements on? And then think of 2 to 3 new things every quarter that you can, begin to improve on, whether you want to start more on Pinterest or Instagram or something. Don't overwhelm yourself with having to be on everything, because you just won't do it and then you'll stop. So just, take baby steps. And whenever I am doing my yearly goals, I do my yearly goals and I break it down by quarter, by month, and by week, so that I know what I'm looking for in my results, and then I know, okay, here's my goal for next month. What can I do to set myself up? So baby steps, I think, is the most important. Otherwise you just get too overwhelmed.
And I think one of the things we have to be in our industry, or in any industry, is just aware where the consumer is going. I mean, there's no point spending a lot of effort in setting up something where your target audience, be it younger or whatever it is, aren't there. And we don't have it in Canada the same way you do it in the States, but it's clear to me through the conversations that I've had with agents in the U.S., by guests we have on the show, that the Trillos and the Zillows and the Realtor.coms are a massive traffic engine for potential consumers. And so I would think, based on just being in front of the consumer, you have to play those rules. Now, do you have to go out and pay extra for all that? No, but perhaps you don't. But reviews, we talked with Mike Minervini about having the importance of having reviews, having a photograph that resembles you. I still am shocked by the number of agents in the RE/MAX company that still don't have a photograph of themselves. If there's not a photograph, I'm telling you, I am not using you. If I were to look at a similar type business, if I were to Google you and I can't see your face, I'm not going to use you. I don't know what it is, what the reasoning is. I know, Dave, you feel the same way. I just don't think there's a connection there. So how do we determine then, Heather, when we're busy in our businesses, to get a sense, where are the consumers going? Where should we start to at least be in front of the most people as quickly as we possibly can?
I think you need to analyze your actual business. Are you a buyer's agent? Do you list houses? If you're a listing agent, I would enhance my profile on Realtor.com to give your listings the maximum exposure. Because if you're an enhanced listing, you can add your videos and so many other things. So by knowing your target market, who do you work with, who do you want to work more with, that will really tell you what direction you need to go. If you're looking for more leads, maybe you do want to buy a zip code from Zillow or Truly or some. I think they're all together now, but it depends on what do you want your business to look like in 2016. Do you want to work more with buyers? Do you want to enhance more of your listing to get more listings? And once you know where that is, I think that helps determine where your online presence needs to be focused more on.
And it's interesting you said that, because one of the next points you were talking about was the value of blogging and SEO, and one of the things that we have found, the more that we do, and I really try to encourage people to do, and we're guilty of it. Our website is bchomeconsultants.com. Now, we bought that name. British Columbia, it's a whole province. I don't sell the whole province. That's the name of our website, and it's ridiculous. We bought it so long ago, and it's out there, and we're stuck with it. But that was back in the late 90s when we thought that's what people would search. The reality is, if you produce content just for first-time home buyers or upsell or whatever it is, you produce content just for them, then when that Google search happens, you are going to reach those consumers. I think as agents, we try to be everything to everybody, and therefore, the SEO and the blog posts don't resonate. It's just kind of a hot mess all over the place. And Dave, I know you said, okay, we're going after gated communities in a certain neighborhood, and we're going to build content around that, and that's been successful for you. So, Heather, advice on, before you start spending energy building SEO, blogging, do you really encourage people to identify who they want to be and not try to just go after luxury and entry level and all that other stuff?
No, absolutely. And I think communities are a big deal, you know, because as far as SEO, you're going to get more of an organic searches and the results from them. So by doing videos, by adding the content and adding those out and pushing it out onto social, I know many agents that they get the referrals, and it's because we just did a client appreciation party for one of our agents, and we went with them. And when I asked his clients how they found him, most of it was because they loved the different areas that he focused on, and his video, they liked him and the way he presented it, and just him as a person, they connected with him on a different level. So I think if you do by communities, as well as if you want to work with senior citizens or first-time home buyers, I mean, I think you can do both, definitely. But I think on a website, an agent, the potential that an agent has by showcasing an area and different communities and showcasing, because you're never just buying a house, you're really buying a lifestyle and selling, you know, where you live, you know, and what the agents can do, it's endless. What they can do, I think the agents limit their thinking to thinking too small as opposed to thinking bigger and acting bigger and just going on a broader range. But definitely for the SEO and, you know, pushing it out to social, pinning it, it's just there's so much value there that the agents don't do.
Agreed. Dave, the impact you've seen creating content that's speaking to a specific. I mean, the nice thing. I mean, mobile agent TV. This is about agents, and so the conversation then can be targeted. And we're not trying to, help everybody. You've been good about identifying neighborhoods and certain types of buyers, and so that the content you do create resonates. I mean, we have the ability to be a lot more specific with our content, and then therefore it's much more meaningful.
Community pages on Facebook is what I've been, kind of working on. I only picked a couple, and actually I just put a community page up for an over 55 community, and it's a little bit more challenging to get people in this community to kind of use Facebook, and so you can invite them to come to the page. But I'm slowly doing it, and the content is just about stuff around the area. The new restaurant just opened up. I put that up the other day. Stuff that people used to go to, we closed and reopened. It's just little things like that, and I'm getting engagement. And I do it on kind of different level, two-level level. I have a community page for Somerset Run. I walk my dog 3 times a day. When I walk my dog, I'm doing social. I'm doing my own kind of social.
Yeah, no, I totally agree.
You're the guy that put the community. We love Somerset Run. Yeah, that's me. And I connect my dog with it all too. So it all comes around. There's a lot of ways to do it.
Yeah, and people can tell because the Casey hat you wear every day. By the way, I think Dan is pushing his luck, Dave, because he just wrote in the Q&A section here. Can we get a Let's Go Royals to cheer to close the end of the show? I don't think you're going to get that, Dan.
No, Dan, that's not happening.
No, you've one side of the bet. Here's something too as well, which I love about online presence, which I love about social, which is I still don't understand people's concern about the return on digital, is that everything is trackable. Everything is trackable. You put a bus bench ad, a newspaper ad, who knows what happens. And so one of your pieces of advice, Heather, is to install Google Analytics on your website, which is something you should absolutely do. And what you can do with Google Analytics, you can find out not only what happens to that traffic when they get on your website, but you can find out where that traffic came from. And so if 5% of your traffic is coming from Pinterest, for example, and you're spending 50% of your energy on Pinterest, you might want to cut that behavior out and go towards whatever. If you're generating more traffic from your community Facebook page, you're driving more traffic from your blogs, you're driving more traffic from whatever it is. That's a great way of focusing your energy. And once again, 20% of the efforts produce 80% of the results. Track things. So talk about some of the tools out there, Heather, and the importance of looking back and reviewing something. And Valerie Garcia's got just a great quote. He says, if you're not willing to change it, don't track it. Like if you're not willing to look at the results. But if you're willing to change it, then tracking is the best possible thing you can ever do for your business. And in 2016, it's simple.
Yes, having Google Analytics, it really helps me know where my traffic to my website's going, what landing pages are working, which ones aren't. You know, if I am running ads on, Facebook, and I can see where they're headed, I see how long they're staying. I see if they're filling things out because I'm getting the leads or not. So I usually will run different, like an A/B test, and run a similar ad, different image, different text, see which one's working. If I didn't have analytics, and Google Analytics is free, but if I didn't have that, I would have no idea. The leads are coming, no they're not. I have no idea. So by having that, I knew, even on a business level, I know that most of my traffic comes from Facebook, and then Pinterest is next, and they're really close. I mean, it's like 48-38%. And then I have LinkedIn and then Twitter and, all that fun stuff. But knowing where that is, I know, okay, well, this is working. So maybe I should do more blogs to have more pins linking back to my website, since Pinterest is doing so well. I'll do more native, pins on Pinterest. Or it just, if you don't track it, how do you know what is working for you? You're posting stuff everywhere, but I'm going to focus more of my energy of where it's actually working. Or if LinkedIn isn't working, maybe I will put some blog posts on there, because those seem to work, traffic-wise as well. But it just, by adding the traffic, or the tracking codes, knowing what pages are working, your landing pages, information, it's just going to give you tons of great information, and it's free.
Yeah, absolutely. And Dave said before, if you're not going to track it, don't do it, or whatever he says, and that's really all of this. If you don't know your numbers, and that's why here's the thing too as well, is it will really let you know where you're wasting your time. Like, you're not getting results, like Dave says. Dave's not going to, as much as I want him to be on Twitter because of his personality, it's never going to work. I've decided that. Dave's not going to be. Dave's a Facebook guy. But he can say, okay, I'm not getting the results there, so I'll cut that out. I mean, we're so torn in so many different directions that at least the analytics will let you know you can cut that out. It's not going to affect your business. Go home and have dinner with your wife. Like, it's not, we put a lot of energy on things that aren't going to work, and I think quite often we're surprised where the traffic does come from. A blog post that you wrote about what a strata fee or a condo fee or whatever you guys call it down in the States, where does that, what does that do? Where does that go? I mean, if that's generating traffic, even though it's this monotonous information, that's what the consumer wants. They're curious about that stuff, and there's a lot of value to go ahead and track that. And Dave, I know you're a huge numbers guys on all level that what works and what doesn't work, whether it's a listing presentation or marketing that you guys are doing, and that's key to finding extra time in your day.
Well, absolutely. I mean, I'm looking to work less and make more money. That's what I want to do. Yeah. And that involves efficiencies, just being more efficient, delegating stuff to different people, and one of the places you delegate it to is Facebook. That's how I'm going to keep in touch with the client. I can't go around and visit them all, but I can put posts up and tag people on Facebook all the time. Hey, how you doing? Blah, 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 and just direct things at different people, and that's an efficiency to me. And it builds value, and we're constantly keeping in touch that way.
So when someone comes to you, Heather, and you work with about how many, 75 agents?
About 70 agents. Mm-hmm.
70 agents, and they come to you. And they say, here's what I've got right now, and you sort of do an audit. One of the things I'm sure is happening now is, if it doesn't work on mobile, if it doesn't look good on mobile, if it's not available on mobile, one of the reasons why I named the show the way it is that is where the eyes and ears are. Mobile friendly, importance of having everything you do being able to be accessed and look good on mobile.
No, that's absolutely true, is looking at everything from their website to what they're doing. I mean, mobile, it's huge, even when they're running different ads on Facebook, to make sure it's mobile friendly. Where is, that ad clicking out to? Is that mobile friendly? Because that's 85% of the people clicking. You can see that, and you can see that on your, the analytics, or whether it be your Facebook page or your website. You can see everything. So make sure that you're testing everything, the mobile version. And with us getting all the new websites, I mean, at least it's mobile responsive, versus what we did have before. You build all these links, but you just weren't sure how it was going to display on depending on what device somebody was using. So absolutely, mobile is a big thing, and it's not going anywhere.
And I think there's some searches online. We had Jeremy Blanton on the show, and we talked about the mobile Geddon that came along with Google is changing things. You got to go out and find out if your website. We have to go through the process of actually rebuilding all of our back end to make sure it's mobile friendly. That's just where the consumers walk down the street and look at everyone staring at their cell phones. It's pretty clear that happens. And now this mobile tool is with us when we're out at listings, when we're out showing homes. I see my clients all the time. They're on Google Maps. They're looking at the parks in comparison to where they are right then. They're looking at the photos. They all take their MLS printout now is on their phone. And so this tool is with us all the time, and we have to be very aware that this is where the connection for a lot of the consumers are happening. I would imagine, going back to where we started at the beginning of the show, a friend gives them a recommendation of an agent. They get off the phone. The first thing they're going to do is that Google search is probably happening on their phone right away while they're still top of mind. Want to talk about, Heather, a little bit, is to get into the social part of it. And, I think the game plan of social is to present you. And someone said on Facebook the other day, what's the key to a really great social presence? It was actually Terry Conrad, and there's a lot of people responded. And I responded, the opportunity of social is to become larger than the real estate transaction, community-based stuff. But the overwhelming response was we're a place where people can connect with the authentic person that you are, to really get to know who you are. Dave said photos with a dog. That's Dave. Duke's awesome, and there's a connection there. And so if the goal of social, and I happen to agree with the answer, is to someone to get to know the actual Michael Thorne, not only the business person, but the personal person, the likes and the dislikes, then how can third-party aggregated content possibly let people know who you are? And I've preached about this quite a bit. Dave has too as well. About the dangers of relying on third-party content. I'm not saying don't do it. In some cases, it might work as augmenting what you put out there. But if the goal of social is for people to get to know who you are, then isn't the content you put out reflecting that?
It absolutely is, and it's always
I can hear it. I can hear it in your voice, Heather. That sigh that comes over, and this is the stumbling block. Like, Dave and I, and you talked about before we get on the air, Dave and I think we really want to maybe jump into you as the devil's advocate on the conversation. But Heather, continue on even with that sigh that begins the conversation.
And I think that there are ways that you can bring in that third-party syndication, but minimize it. So have it become a content filler. So maybe you have that 3 days a week, and you're posting, a quote one day or something that resonates with you on the other days. I think you can have the filler where it can be, a real estate or your local area. You can certainly schedule posts. To me, that's the same thing, but make it localized. At least, information right now. It's the holidays, so there's tons of different events going on. So you can schedule to make it work smarter. I think that's where agents, sign on with these third-party companies to just do it for them, but they're not going to get any results. Not what they're thinking or not what their competitor is always saying. I usually when somebody's signing on, I want to be like so and so. They have all these fans, and they don't understand when you have this third party just publishing stuff and you're not making any connections. Your fan base is not really going to grow. You're not offering any value whatsoever. And if they actually look at the insights or they see on the bottom of those posts what their reach is, they may have 500 fans, but their reach is 1, and that's probably them. So you can be posting all of this stuff, but if it's not reaching anyone, why are you spending money on it? I mean, that's what people want to see the pictures of you at your closings or you, for us, we're on the beach. So there's really no excuse not to have a beautiful beach photo. You're showing properties. Pull over, take a beautiful picture, and you post it. Everybody loves sunsets. Just something that resonates with the agent on a personal level is going to start to create like a relationship that they can, take online and bring it offline. And people are just going to make that connection with them. And Ugh, I know I feel like we just say this over and over and over again, but yeah, you're going to get out of it what you put into it.
Let me take it to a one step further and put it real simple. My goal on social media is to ultimately meet somebody face to face. That's my goal. That's my goal. I'll do all the content. We'll go back and forth. I haven't seen you in years. Whatever. There could be people I haven't seen in years. But my ultimate goal, and I'm not going to meet them all, naturally, but I want to be belly to belly with these people at some point when they want to do business with me, or not even do business with me. Just this. I've interacted with you for the last 5 years on Facebook. I haven't seen you since high school. You know what? I'd like to get together again some point in time. That's my ultimate. That to me, if that's what it's about for me.
Yeah, and Dave,
my business will grow because of that.
I totally agree with you, and this is why this show, Mobile Agent TV, works, Dave, is because when people hear that from you, it sounds it's just more understandable. So here's the question, though. How, Dave, do I possibly put this energy into online search, social media, digital presence, and do all the stuff that I've been doing since 1987? How do I do it all? And that's the thing, is your business looks dramatically different in 2015, 2016 than it did in 1987. So advice on finding the time, finding the balance. The issue is, this isn't on top of, this is instead of. You've already said that connecting those relationships through Facebook and maintaining them, people know more about you and Vanessa now than they ever did before. So you still aren't doing the things that you were doing before. You've stopped doing the things that you're doing before.
Well, not really. We haven't stopped doing the things we were doing.
No, but what I mean is, you've changed what you were doing and found a better way to do it in 2015. You're still not doing the same stuff that didn't work in 1987. I guess that's
we're able to do it faster and meet more people. I mean, all this technology, all it's really done is speeded up the world. You know, the fax machine, boom, boom, boom. Now we're doing paperless. Now we're getting transactions done in 10 minutes. From beginning to end, 10 minutes. The whole thing's done. It's everybody signed it. It's in the attorney's hands in 10 minutes. And it's the same thing with social media, I think. You know, it's like we're speeding up relationships. We have never met these people, but we can speed up a relationship, which enhances it. It's a good thing. It's a good thing. We're speeding everything up. Now, here we are. I meet somebody. I mean, we've said this multiple times here. When the first time I met Michael and Valerie and people who I had just interacted with on Mobile Agent TV, never met them before, but when I met them, I felt like I knew them for 20 years.
Yeah. Felt the same way when I met Heather last year at R4.
Right here. Yep. And Facebook and however, and I think that's the way the whole world's going. It's the caution to other real estate agents for me is make sure that there's some form of you're doing that. Don't just get, you know, like Heather said, I can tell she's frustrated with some of her agents because they don't know that they're just on social media and they're putting all kinds of nonsense up and they have no goal. They don't understand why they're doing it, and they just do it because somebody told them that you have to be on social media, right?
Exactly.
Well, yeah, absolutely. I think, and this is the thing too. It's, you know, one of the things that I'm like, it's 2016, and I kind of thought in 2009 that we'd be through this by now, and we clearly aren't. The frustrating part is your consumer is past it. Like we are ahead of our times in our industry when it comes to technology, paperless, and a lot of other things. One thing I think we are behind in this industry is understanding the consumer. I think generally, not all of us obviously, but the vast majority of us don't understand how fast and how different our consumer is willing to communicate, and that's one of the more frustrating things. I want to talk about something that I think is absolutely something everyone should be looking into in 2016 when it comes to your online marketing and online presence. The sense of privacy, the sense of whatever it is. Someone said to me, you know, I'm on Facebook and then I'm seeing an ad for shoes and I was just looking at shoes. How do they know? They know. Facebook knows everything about you. They know everything about you. Your privacy. I know the younger generations, the Gen X, or I should say the millennials, don't care about privacy. That's gone. But the benefit of not having privacy is that we have the analytics. Us as a marketer have the analytics, and we can use those analytics to cut through the noise, deliver content, deliver a message in a way that was never, ever, ever possible before, at a cost that is unimaginably affordable. We can get right to the consumer. retargeted ads, dark posts, YouTube pre-roll ads. The opportunities are absolutely endless. Heather, talk about targeted ads and our ability to use the analytics that all these platforms have now to really craft an ad, not for everybody, but for a specific audience so that it resonates and doesn't really come across as an ad.
Doesn't come across as an ad. That's an interesting. I love the targeted ads. Whether you're doing it for branding, whether you're doing it, maybe you're spotlighting a community, maybe you're trying to boost your community page that you're trying to grow, whether it be a listing that you have, to be able to target that ideal buyer, the person that is most likely going to purchase that property, whether it be a certain demographic, an age range. If it's on a golf course, you can target people who like golfing, and that is so much more than you can get from a regular newspaper ad, because you're able to target, you're able to spend $1 a day to say, have a title that says, bring your clubs, have the information, have them go to your website, have them go to a landing page. You're able to target the exact person that you want to work with, or the person that will most likely purchase a property. On a business level, I can do it more of a branding, so it's kind of like a generic or more of a landing page to create leads, or it could be an event. I do a lot of we do a lot of hot air balloon events, so those I will run ads, and if it's for a certain cause, I can even target people who have kids who are interested in the same nonprofit that my event is going to be for. I'm able to target anybody I want. We have a lot of, we have the space, program here, so we have a lot of companies bringing people down and a lot of growth. So I can actually target people that are most likely that work for a certain company that are interested in our area if we're looking, that are looking for real estate. So being able to target the exact person for whatever it is, whether it be an event, a listing, a landing page, branding, anything like that, you can, Facebook is powerful in that sense. I mean, it's incredible compared to what we've had, prior to Facebook.
And it's as simple as the analogy I use, and we use this all the time with our marketing of our listings. You create a video for a property, and the video is for everybody. But then you take that video and you run an ad, a dark post. That, guys, when we talk about ad too as well, it's not on the right-hand side; it's in their newsfeed, and we put a thumbnail on it that highlights the gourmet kitchen, and the content is about how this house has a gourmet, it's amazing kitchen, and we run that ad against women who identify themselves as foodies, and that clicks through to that video, and then we take the same ad and we show, an old car up on jacks in this amazing shop, and that's the cover photo for that, and we run that ad against men who are into cars. Now, the destination is the same destination, but the foodie kitchen resonates with the foodie person, and the cars on jacks resonates. That idea, instead of taking the photo from the outside of the house and advertising to men and women, to segment that off. And what I mean, when your advertising turns into ad value, then it's not an ad anymore. And that's really where I think the opportunity is to get something that's most appealing to the consumer. And we have a fascinating ability to do that, now, more than ever before. You have an apartment. You can run one ad for first-time home buyers and one ad for downsizing, and yet it's the same content. It's just mind-boggling, and I really think there's a lack of people that are utilizing it. I know my father-in-law right now is running for a school trustee in Chilliwack, and the first thing we did is just started running targeted ads against young families, people that have kids that are in the school system, and targeted just in the neighborhood that he's running, and it's pennies on the dollar. The opportunities are amazing. Then we can get into retargeted ads through Facebook. That when they go to Facebook, then it starts to follow them, when they come to your website. You put I forget what it's called, a pixel, and then it follows them around. They go to Facebook and they start seeing your advertising. It's a pretty special time. On that note, Heather, then where do people get the knowledge and get the confidence to start going out there? I mean, you work one-on-one with people, but someone wants to start running Facebook advertising. How do they learn how to do it?
I use Facebook also with networking groups. Like Remax Play. I need to learn how to do more video. I go there because everybody knows so much and they're so supportive. So I think by finding groups or going online, you can Google it. YouTube will tell you everything how to do I'm self-taught. I just ask Google and YouTube tells me how to do everything I need to do. Yep. But if you want to, just do it. Or, gosh, you could almost find a kid that would intern and they know how to do everything. I look at my son. He's got almost 200 videos. He has no problem looking like an idiot. And me, I'm like, is my hair okay? Do I sound okay? Kids, they just don't care. But, I think networking groups, whether LinkedIn, Google+, Facebook, there's so much value in these groups where agents are there to help other agents and help us, learn so much. Like the Remax Play, just we're trying to do a green room. And I have no idea. So
we just said it earlier. Though. One of the things, if you're not, for the audience, if you're not doing any type of social media at all, do what Heather just said, but pick one and start with it and start learning it. Take your time, but don't take too much time because the world's moving fast. But don't do one a year. Just one every month, 6 weeks, 7 weeks. Pick one that you like. The one a social media platform that when you do it, you really enjoy it. Don't get into something that's a pain because you really hate it because you won't keep doing it. There's enough social media platforms that you can reach clients and your audience that you're going to enjoy doing. There's enough of them that you don't need to pick one that you really hate, and just take your time and kind of go through. And there's plenty of resources to learn how to do this stuff. Plenty.
Yeah, I totally agree, Dave. I mean, our Facebook targeted ads are phenomenal return. Our YouTube pre-roll ads. One of the advantages of YouTube pre-roll ads is it runs on the Google AdWords platform. Now, try to go and buy real estate in your neighborhood. It costs too much to buy the word real estate. It just costs too much because there's too many people wanting that word. The nice thing about YouTube pre-roll ads is you need to have a video to play as the advertisement, and since agents generally don't do video, there's not the competition for the keywords or the key videos. So you can run ads against real estate videos in your home neighborhood for pennies that are converting phenomenally because you need a video to run against a video. So that's amazing. And the thing that I'm going to jump into in 2016, and I know that people are already playing with it, and I think is very, very interesting, is Instagram advertising. I think now that we can advertise on Instagram, once again, target your hometown, to put up a really cool photo of a new listing coming soon. I think Instagram advertising, which you can do right in the Facebook platform now, it's right integrated, it's really, really easy to do. I think is going to be very, very interesting. And once again, I've got Facebook down and YouTube, and like Dave said, Instagram is the next place we'll look at advertising. But your dollar certainly goes an extremely long way on social targeted that it does these these mass sends that go out. Heather, as we get to the end of the show and we get ready for Go Royals cheer from Dave, that's not going to happen. If you were to say, okay, top 3 things you're going to do, you're going to have an online presence, if you need to get going, what are sort of 3 things agents should be doing now to make sure that they have a stronger presence in 2016?
Obviously, community video. I think there's enough out there, and the agents are not using it. Facebook, for them to be genuine and real. I think if even on their personal, if they don't have a page as their personal account, to use it as maybe networking, but to be genuine and true to themselves and transparent, I think that would actually go a long way for referrals. Just people will get to know them more. And online, for me, Pinterest has been probably one of the most underutilized tools for the SEO, not just for repinning, but to be the actual pinner, to pen from my own website that has a track back to my website, having nice photos or blogs or anything like that. I think that's really underutilized on a real estate agent, level for communities and stuff like that. So those are my top 3 things, but video's got to be number 1. It's my personal goal. We're working on our green room for the office, so I'm pretty excited and scared and can't wait for your video boot camp and at R4 by far.
Awesome. No. So on that note, let's just. I mean, I think video is the thing that 2016 will. The tipping point is here. I absolutely feel like it is. So you're building a green room in the office. What's the temperature of the agent in? You've got 70 agents. 5 of them are super excited. 20 of them are lukewarm, and 50 of them are scared to death. What's sort of the temperature of the agent to jump into video?
I probably have maybe 5 that are excited, and the rest are probably all like scared to death. And I'm included in that scared to death, but I know it has to be done. So I watch my son's videos, and it's encouraging that I won't look as bad as him.
Wow, that's a nice.
He's a totally different person recording his video games, and how he can talk to that little dot on the computer in such an animated way that he can't have that same conversation with me. And I don't know, the more outrageous you are, the more views and subscribes. He wants to be rich by YouTube. That's his goal.
Well, we had this conversation in Vegas, Heather. When I was a kid, I wanted to be this when I grew up, or that when I grew up. But it was always police officer or firefighter or veterinarian. My son has declared for years now that he wants to grow up to be a YouTuber. I mean, that's just something that never came out of a child's mouth, more than 5 years ago. And that's he wants to be a YouTuber. And I keep on saying, let's go, let's figure out what you want to do. But it's amazing that and here as agents that might be in their 40s, right? That are building the business for the next 15 years. Those 20-year-old kids that have no issue with YouTube are getting their real estate license in the next 5 years.
Yes.
And they will destroy you when it comes to video 5 years from now. They're just a different breed. I mean, it's like asking clients now when you're out showing houses if we can snap an Instagram photo or a selfie together because something funny happened. If they're under the age of 35, they have zero issue with that. Just zero issue. So things have definitely changed. Heather, thank you so much for giving us an hour of your time. I think it's a really, really important conversation. Those 70 agents are obviously fortunate to have an in-house coach in the office. But if people want to get in touch with you, Heather, if people want to reach out to you, ask you questions, connect with you, how do people get a hold of? You know what? I never realized that you're Heather H. Holiday. I never got H3 Social Net. I never got that before. What does the H stand for?
It's my middle initial. I've been H3 since I was little. My maiden name was HHH, so I've always been known as H3. And I married an H.
Wow.
So I kept that.
I mean, that must have been crucial. Did you only date people with the last name H? I mean, if you
No,
already, you got to be consistent with the branding.
I had to stick with the H, yes. So I think when I met him, and what's funny, when I met Dave, we realized that my husband grew up on the same street as Dave, like their whole life. How crazy of a small world is that?
That is me?
Yeah.
We talked about that, right?
Yeah. In Vegas.
And we have pork roll that my husband
Right.
loves.
But I remember the conversation. And so what was his name? What was his?
Holidays. But he's younger than you, so I think the
Must be a lot
generation
younger.
gap.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember what. But stay on afterwards, and you're gonna give me if he remembers the address. Because
He remembers the hot dog stand and the horses.
Oh, okay, yeah. Actually, I'll send you a picture of that.
Yes.
Did I send you a picture of the guy with the horses?
Yes.
They're actually related to me.
This is a squirrel moment where the viewership goes. But just before we go, I hopefully Dan's still around.
Oh, you see, that's social media.
Beautiful. And belly to belly. Lean in there, Dave. Give a real big smile so we can screen capture the KC hat there. You got to say something.
You got it, Dan. This is the last time you're going to see this, unless unless Kansas City beats the Mets next year in the World Series. But it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Your team's getting broke up, buddy. You got too many free agents.
On next week's show, we have Jeff Harris, who's the VP of Enterprise Sales for Matterport. We're going to get not only into Matterport, and if you don't know what Matterport is, I mean, we're going to get into it, but we're really going to talk about the immersive experience that consumers are looking for moving forward, a way of really bringing a great immersive experience where you're actually there viewing the property in a digital form. I think when it comes to 360 video and to Matterport, the opportunities are phenomenal. We'll also be joined by Kyle Cutcliffe, former guest on the show. He's implementing Matterport. He has the camera. He's been out shooting with it. So we can really see it from an agent's perspective, what it's like in the field. That is December the 4th. Holy crow, we're already into December. Friday, December the 4th. If you have any referrals going out to the East Coast of the United States, get a hold of Dave. He'll put you in the hands of the right RE/MAX agents. Any referrals coming out the West Coast of Canada, get a hold of me, and I'll get you in the hands of the right RE/MAX agent. And as Melanie Gallia wants us to end every show, go Royals. No, please tell 5 other agents about Mobile Agent TV. Our audience grows every week. Allows us to reach out to amazing guests like Heather Holliday. Can't wait to see you at the end of February. Heather, thank you so much for an hour of your time. We really, really appreciate it. Once again, I'm always amazed. Well, I'm not amazed anymore. I'm always so pleased at how amazing the RE/MAX family is, how willing they are to come on and share and give up their time. So, Heather, I very, very much appreciate it. Oh, we didn't even get to it. How do people connect to you? We got offline. Oh my goodness, we got offline. At H3 Social Nut on Twitter. You have an About Me link too as well?
Yes, my About Me should have all of my social profiles right there, my blog site, and I'm also all over Facebook. So yeah. I'm connected, and I'm the admin of the RE/MAX Referral Network on Facebook. So,
which is a fantastic Facebook group, by the way. I think it's just RE/MAX Referral Network. Search that. I think you have to present a request out to Heather, but it's always a great place to connect with people. So once again, Heather, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Dave, I hope Heather, how was Thanksgiving?
Delicious.
And we started the show. We'll end the show with this. Heather, what is your favorite Thanksgiving dish?
Ham.
Ham. There you go. Fantastic. Thanks, Dave. Thanks, Heather. Thank you all for watching. We'll see you all next week.